I would say that the internet technology has actually disrupted many industries, many sectors. I wouldn't necessarily single out the travel agent sector as being the hardest hit. I think actually everybody, from whether you're a media company or whether you're a hotelier, whether you're an airline, I think you've all been affected. So all of them have been affected. I think all of them need to adapt in order to grow. As to the high points and the low points, I think in my 6 years with STB, in terms of working with the industry on transformation, the high point would be, I think, last year when we held a couple of what we call innovation challenges. And we did one with the hoteliers and we did one with the travel agents. And what happened at these innovation challenges was that we brought together people from the industry because they were the ones who said, these are my problem statements, these are the business challenges that I have. And then we also brought together people from the startups and solutions providers, right? So brought them in the same room, brainstorm, right? The solutions providers could hear directly from industry what the problems were, and they could start to think, well, what do I know or what technology do I have access to that could potentially be a solution for you? And that kind of exchange was actually very fruitful. Both sides were very, very engaged to the extent that they want to do more of these types of innovation challenges. In fact, Natas has told me that this year they want to organize their own innovation challenge. And to me, that's a high point because it shows that industry is taking ownership. It shows that industry is realizing the importance of this type of initiative. I think there will always be a vanguard of more progressive businesses and business owners. What they have in common, I think, is a very clear sense that they need to keep abreast of how the operating environment is changing for them. So if there's new technology that's coming on stream, how is it an opportunity in terms of being able to grow their business, and how is it a threat? Some of them have been able to deploy technology to increase the productivity of their staff so that they get their sales agents to be more productive, to be more focused on customer engagement, potentially upselling, and not just taking orders. I think the more progressive business owners and businesses are also the ones who are very attuned to consumer trends. So in this case, it would be travel trends. And they're very quick to respond to that. So you can have a traditional player like Chan Brothers, for example, who have traditionally been organizing the bigger type of coach tours, but they're introducing Chan Brothers Prestige, which is to say that they sense there's a segment of people who are prepared they still want something that's organized for them, but they want it organized in a smaller, more intimate type of group setting. I think so. You see examples like that of travel agents responding to the market as well as responding to technology. No, I don't think so. As long as you're able to transform and meet a market segment need, I think you'll always be relevant. So there'll be many types of travel for which the individual may feel I can self-service, right? I don't need an agent. And that's fine. And that's part of what's driving the growth in travel. But there'll be other kind of trips where I think you will appreciate more specialized advice, someone who knows what they're talking about, someone who's very familiar with the destination that you're thinking of going. I think that doesn't change. Not always, sometimes I do. For many of our trips, we're all very savvy, so we're quite comfortable, DIY. But there will be certain trips where either because you're not familiar with the destination or perhaps you don't have the time to do the research and you just want to go to someone who you trust, then I think, it makes sense. Right. So what has happened with the changes to the Travel Agent Act is that we have opened up the opportunities for more innovative tour development. We have allowed tourist guides to introduce their tours. Previously, they had to be licensed as a travel agent. I think that's one development which we are excited about. It's early days, but we're excited that it has opened up the field in terms of tour development. The other area in which I think it has helped is that it has boosted consumer confidence in the industry, because we have beefed up some of the requirements in terms of what it takes to be a licensed travel agent. I think that increases consumer confidence in the industry, and that can only be good. We can't expect the act to be the silver bullet, so I think we have to look at it in totality with the travel agent roadmap that STB is working on with NATAS to ensure that the travel agent industry is continuing to transform and stay relevant. Well, firstly, I think it is a misconception that Singaporeans do not want to work in the hotel industry, or that the hotel industry doesn't offer attractive jobs and careers for Singaporeans. I think it's simply not true, especially as you see more and more hospitality companies increasing their footprint, going beyond Singapore to take their brand overseas. I think they're going to need a lot more experienced managers as well as marketeers, revenue managers, to be able to manage that global enterprise. And that's something which we're working on as part of that transformation map. I accept that there is a reputational issue that we have to address, and so we're working with Shah on a campaign to invite people to really rethink and revisit their assumptions about the hotel industry and the type of jobs and careers that it has to offer. Now, what would be my specific advice to members in the industry? I think productivity continues to be a central issue. And if you look at what productivity is, essentially is value added divided by worker, right? So value added per worker is productivity. Traditionally, I think people look at the numerator and the denominator separately. And sometimes the hoteliers will say, Lionel, it's good that you're helping us with the denominator, meaning that we're helping you to be more manpower lean so that you use less workers. But Lionel, you must also help us on the numerator, which is value add, which is revenue, And I think that's what we do as a destination promoter. But at the same time, I think hoteliers can also look at the two simultaneously, meaning for every hotel worker that is freed up because you now are able to use a robot or you now have a better business process, how might you deploy that hotel worker to engage with customers, to engage them, drive loyalty, upsell, drive revenue, So the restructuring of the hotel job can work both the numerator and the denominator of that productivity metric. And I think that's something which there's still a lot of room for us to grow productivity in this industry. I think we have to be prepared to look at things with a fresh perspective, because there are many jobs, and this is not unique to the hotel industry, where people have a very fixed idea about what it's about. This is what a doorman does. This is what a front desk person does. This is what a bell captain does. But how do we sort of rethink it fundamentally, especially in light of new technology, new devices that may be able to help us, and how do we make that hotel worker be more productive? At the end of the day, it is productivity. It's going to result in better wages for that hotel worker as well. And to the extent that you can automate, you definitely want to automate, and that frees you up to then, do the more value-adding type of activities, if you like. I think it should complement us and allow us to do the more important things.